the media, all they talk about is Caitlyn. Caitlyn could throw somebody a bounce pass. Oh my God, she threw it. It's all about Caitlyn.
Remember all the girls that were just all talking shit about her from the beginning? This was a tune change because that's how they roll. That WNBA is woke as shit. The NBA is woke as shit. And they had to tell her, you better change your thing or we're not going to get behind you 100%. And she did. She bowed down, and that's exactly what happened.
You're too cute by half, and you've managed to piss off your fan base.
Caitlin Clark was recently honored as Time's Athlete of the Year. A remarkable achievement for someone so early in her professional career. Yet instead of the spotlight resting solely on that accomplishment, attention quickly shifted to the controversy sparked by remarks she made during the accompanying interview. In that conversation, Clark explained that while she believes she has worked hard for everything she's achieved, she also recognizes that, as a white player, certain privileges exist. She acknowledged that many of the league's trailblazers and standout stars have been black athletes and emphasized that the foundation of the league was built largely on their contributions. Her comments immediately ignited a fierce public debate. Supporters applauded her for confronting the topic of racial inequality, an issue that has long been part of both sports culture and society at large. Critics, however, pushed back, arguing that she was bowing to outside pressures and diluting her genuine voice in the process. As fans and commentators continue to clash over her perspective, a bigger question hangs in the air. How will this moment shape Caitlin Clark's future and her bond with supporters? The conversation is far from over. Up next, we'll break down reactions from prominent media figures, beginning with Candace Owens, who unexpectedly stepped in to defend Clark while also weighing in on the wider controversy.
She's 22 years old. I don't know a single commentator out there, Megyn Kelly included, who did not at some point throughout their political career have the wrong perspectives. But for whatever reason, we've decided Caitlyn's not allowed that time to grow. She's not allowed time to change. She's got to be a perfect MAGA candidate and I guess stand up to the entire mob. This girl's literally being bullied, physically bullied, I will say, by the way, on the court. And we know the basis of that is quite racist. I think she just wants to survive. I think genuinely Caitlyn just wants to survive.
It's incredible to consider just how much Caitlin Clark has accomplished at such a young age. Her meteoric rise to national prominence can make people forget how early she is in her journey, but that perspective matters. She's still learning, still growing, and deserves a measure of understanding as she manages the pressure of constant attention while being pulled into heated cultural conversations. Now the focus shifts to Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports and a major presence on social media. Unlike many of the pundits dissecting the Caitlin Clark debate from a distance, Portnoy approaches it as a passionate sports enthusiast first. In a blunt, off-the-cuff rant shared on his Instagram and X accounts, he laid out his unfiltered reaction to Clark's remarks and addressed what he sees as the over-the-top public response that followed.
Caitlin Clark's popularity has absolutely nothing to do with the color of her skin. Anybody who has actually watched women's basketball or watch Caitlyn knows she plays totally different than any woman before her.
Dave Portnoy pushes back against the claim that Caitlin Clark's rise can be reduced to white privilege alone, arguing that her elite talent is the real driver behind her fame. He stresses that her rare shooting range, court vision, and competitive edge are what truly separate her from the pack. In his view, her historic level of performance is why she's become the biggest name in women's basketball today, perhaps even one of the most impactful figures the sport has ever seen. Portnoy also calls out media personalities and online commentators who jump into the argument despite not being authentic basketball followers. According to him, people across the cultural spectrum are capitalizing on Clark's visibility, turning her into a stand-in for political and social battles she hasn't signed up for. As a result, her comments, and even her character, have been distorted by those determined to mold the story to suit their own narratives, leaving the real conversation about basketball increasingly overshadowed.
All the people who are like co-opting this, who aren't real basketball fans, who aren't real Caitlin Clark fans, are like, oh, the woke mob got to her. She's now saying her success is because of the skin and she has privilege. First of all, she didn't say she had that. She said she earned everything she got. But what do you want Caitlin Clark to do?
Dave Portnoy goes a step further with his analysis, arguing that the broader context around Caitlin Clark's remarks is crucial to understanding why she chose to address the topic at all. In his view, her comments weren't necessarily a deeply rooted political declaration, but rather a strategic move made within the realities of today's sports landscape. He suggests that Clark is navigating the unique pressures that come with playing in the WNBA, where social conversations often intersect with the game itself. According to Portnoy, her priority isn't to wade into divisive cultural battles, but to protect her standing in the league and keep the focus on basketball. From his perspective, Clark's main objective is simple: avoid being pulled further into controversy and remain centered on her performance on the court.
She plays in a league that is predominantly African American, and she wants to maybe show up at work and not have people hate her. She wants the league to be successful. The more successful, more stars, the better it is for her and everybody in the league. This backlash of Caitlin turned on the league and Caitlin is woke and Caitlin is this. You fuckers are crazy. And that's what I hate. This, for Caitlin, has never been about politics, never been about race.
The storm of debate surrounding Caitlin Clark may have amplified her visibility and fueled viral conversations, but all signs suggest she would prefer to steer clear of the noise. Naturally reserved and grounded, Clark has never tried to cast herself as a political spokesperson. Her passion has always been the game of basketball. It's where she thrives, where her dedication shows, and ultimately what led to her being recognized as Time's Athlete of the Year. While the non-stop headlines and heated discussions have certainly expanded her profile, many believe the focus should return to her performance on the hardwood. That sentiment was shared by veteran broadcaster Dan Patrick, who encouraged fans and critics alike to simply acknowledge excellence when they see it. Having covered decades of unforgettable sports moments, Patrick understands how rare true greatness really is. He pointed out that players with Clark's level of influence and once-in-a-generation ability don't come around often. Rather than scrutinizing every word, he argues, we should appreciate the privilege of watching a special talent in real time and allow her to be celebrated for elevating the game instead of being diminished by controversy.
Can't we just acknowledge Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA? That's it. It's okay. You want to throw in Angel Reese. You want to throw the memory of Cheryl Miller or Cynthia Cooper. It's a win. We got to... This is a unique moment. Caitlin Clark did for the WNBA what Wayne Gretzky did for the NHL when he went to the LA Kings.
There isn't a requirement to turn every action by a public figure into a political statement. At times, it's worth pausing to recognize the qualities that made them stand out in the first place. In the case of Caitlin Clark, that distinction comes from her remarkable ability on the basketball court. Acknowledging her elite skill set and impact on the game doesn't diminish the accomplishments of other players. It simply gives credit where it's due. Dan Patrick reinforces this perspective, encouraging fans to value excellence for what it genuinely represents. His message is straightforward. Greatness should be recognized and appreciated, not constantly reframed through a political lens.
It's okay. Take a victory lap. You don't have to go, oh my God, these people are mad, or this person's mad, or this group is mad. Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA. It's okay. It's okay to say that. You're not diminishing what the founding, fathers of the WNBA did. You're not. She's the Time Person of the Year.
Stephen A. Smith, a personality often associated with fiery takes and headline-grabbing commentary about athletes' personal lives and public statements, adopted a notably measured tone when discussing Caitlin Clark's recent interview. Instead of leaning into sensationalism or amplifying controversy, he opened by praising her outstanding production on the court. By highlighting her elite scoring ability, leadership, and overall impact on the game, he established a foundation of respect and admiration before thoughtfully addressing the substance of her comments.
She brings big-time play to the equation, big-time attention, and then she steps out. Absolutely no obligation to do so. And she points out the disparity in treatment between her as a white player and black players who preceded her and achieved so much, but lacked the level of recognition she received. Her heart has been in the right place. She deserves major, major kudos for her heart being in the right place.
Caitlin Clark has clearly justified her Athlete of the Year honor, as one interview alone sparked reactions from top sports analysts and major political commentators alike. From media personalities to league legends, countless voices have weighed in on the debate her words created. Regardless of differing opinions, one reality stands out. Very few athletes command the level of attention and cultural influence Clark now holds, and her impact on both the game and the wider conversation is only continuing to grow.